Before I get into this video, I just want to say something. A lot of our people are very simple minded, and it's not their fault. It's really not their fault. It's because of this system, this matrix that we've been born into. We are the recipient of the most lies. So we form opinions based off a narrative. Not all of us, but for the most part, we form opinions based off a narrative and based off of lies that we've been taught, as well as a misunderstanding. And we don't consider, we don't factor in, we don't contextualize. So a lot of people form opinions based off of the simple aspect. So when I talk about culture, I'm not talking about the modern day simplistic understanding of culture when it comes to what we've been fed. The reason why we don't know what culture is because we don't have a fucking culture. A culture is an understanding uniformly between a group of people of adherences, language, lineage, customs. We don't have that. That's not hip hop. That's not hip hop music. How can you look at something as frivolous as hip hop and call that a culture? Yeah, you have positive aspects of hip hop, but you have also negative aspects of hip hop in which they choose to promote. And this is why I want to go into this guy right here, pause. You know, it's very important that we understand and factor in things. How can you consider something as negative a fucking culture and you don't even understand it all the way when it comes to why they promote what they promote on that type of level? Because it's all based in something that's left-handed. And most of our people aren't spiritual. So that takes away our connection from a understanding of culture as well. We're not spiritual, so we don't grasp the left hand aspect. You know, for the most part, we've been broken off from our natural understanding innately of what spirituality is, and the understanding that it's something that's associated with us. You know, it's just crazy how we can't grasp the difference between what we've been fed as a culture and what a culture really is, especially when you consider these other different, ethnicities and these other different tribes that, we understand to have certain holidays and certain traditions that's associated with them. That's a culture. Black people do not have that, especially black people of America, black people of captivity. See, only the brothers that's in the knowledge understand where I'm coming from. But the simple minded, the majority, the modern day thinkers, they don't get it. They don't factor in the real nitty gritty understanding of these things because they don't understand history. If you had an understanding of history, then you will understand what culture is. You just go off of this simple aspect of culture when it comes to what they fed you. They fed you this bullshit notion that hip hop is a culture, so you won't really understand what your real culture is because that's threatening. That's threatening to the power structure. So they got you thinking that hip hop is a culture. Soul food is a culture. That's not culture. That's associated with a narrative. Black. Black is not real. Remember what I said, context. Our people, we are so simple minded. Like, we don't understand that if I say that black is not real, black is a corporate designation, black is a corporate title, then how can you associate anything with that as real? It's not. I'm sorry, you gotta take off all the stuff that you learn. You gotta unlearn that shit and come into something that's real. That's the problem. You feel what I'm saying? So it's hard for the average person. They come on my channel and they listen and they're like, what is he? Where is he coming from with this? Because you are in the matrix. You're asleep. You in the fucking Truman Show. The Most High gave me a blessing that allowed me to quote unquote wake up, but I don't like to associate myself with being woke. I'm aware. I'm not woke. I know what it is, and I'm humble enough to, you know, express gratitude to the Heavenly Father for giving me that, even though it was something that was already in me before I came into the knowledge. But me coming to the knowledge was verification. It was confirmation, and I'm sure a lot of you brothers can attest to this. But that's what a culture is: a uniform understanding in a group of adherences, language, lineage, customs, traditions, so on and so forth. We don't have a fucking language. There's no black language. There's like African American culture. That's not real. That's narrative shit. That's a corporate designation. Most of our people aren't even from Africa. They only feed you that slave narrative to make you think that because they don't want you to understand your real history. They don't want you to understand that you ruled in different regions. You're indigenous to the whole world, not just Africa. Yes, we were slaves, but that's part of a narrative. We also rule. We also had other races in slavery. They don't teach you that. So you just been fed this narrative about Juneteenth and all this bullshit. That's a part of the curses. That's a part of the spiritual aspect of the Most High when it comes to the standard that we're supposed to live up to. Accountability, giving us commandments, because it's all about accountability, holding yourself accountable. Yes, most of our people aren't aware of this stuff, but when you become aware, you humble yourself. You understand that, oh, that's what the Most High is about. That's what God is. God is about commandments, standard, heritage, not religion. The commandments is simple and not grievous. That's cultural, because we all supposed to be living by it uniformly. You get it? Simple-minded ass black man. And I'm not talking to all y'all brothers, man. And some of you brothers that's simple-minded, you understand certain things in other areas, but when it comes to grasping things in context, especially with the spirit, it's hard, because I'm sure some of you brothers don't even believe in God, don't even believe in the Most High, and that's a damn shame. But we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into the video. Excuse me.
At what point did you feel Irv was ready to run a label, in contrast to just being A&R?
Till the motherfucker took it from me. Okay, I would have had him still in fucking A&R for Def Jam had he not said, fuck that. I'm making you too much money. And Irv took. Every great person took what they had. I didn't give him shit. He grabbed it, snatched it, and did it on his own. Because I would have had him still A&R for us, had he not had the nuts to go out on his own and bring it. Because, you know, a lot of these A&R people are comfortable as a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
They prefer being, revered A&R people that don't do dick. Irv, brought it and then moved on. I'm happy to have a piece. The people who put it on the board, the A&R people, the creative people, are the ones that are the bosses. Okay? I made that perfectly clear. And so it was fun for me. It was a breath of fresh air. This guy used to stomp through my door and say, we're gonna sell 5 million albums. I looked at him like he was fucking on crack. And then guess what? Sold 5 million albums. And after a couple of epiphanies, predicting the future, you start writing and listening and doing what he tells you to do. You see, really, the one thing that Gotti's figured out is that he's the boss. You know what I'm saying? He tells us what to do, we do it. We know what's smart for us. It's simple. Irv decided to go, you know what? I'm going to invent the Irv Swerve. I'm going to go and learn this radio shit. And guess what? He learned the radio shit. I'm going to go and I'm going to know about sales. And he learned about sales. I'm going to start this company and create opportunities and employment opportunities for, a bunch of people that would not be employed right now. Instead of, a series of other record companies that will remain nameless, jerking themselves off and jerking their whole crew off and think it's all about diamonds and cars and how many bitches they could fuck. Irv and his crew are all about their money, building a company that withstands cold periods, because we all get cold. But they're building a company, a sophisticated company, a company that could have revenues of several hundreds of millions of dollars. A company that has incredible executive talent, that know how to sign and develop and nurture acts and grow. And so what's the future hold is, I think the future is bright, because there's an enormous amount of inspiration involved in what Irv is doing and Ja's doing. I mean, come on. He's one of 8 kids. He was last to eat at the table. Okay? Last. They had one bathroom. You know what I'm saying? They used to eat in shifts.
You see, this guy, Lyor Cohen, is someone who spearheaded the degeneracy agenda, or spearheaded the low level aspect of hip hop music. Just when it comes to that degeneracy aspect, that shoot 'em up, kill 'em, fuck on your baby mother, sell drugs aspect. Not just Lyor Cohen, but he's one of the ones that helped spearhead it. And he's the founder of 300 Entertainment, where you had Young Thug and Chief Keef and Lil Reese and all them different rappers that pretty much sparked that drill scene for about 2 years. And then you had like 2014 with Young Thug and that whole other scene with YSL. But before that, you had the drill scene, and that was something that was very, very, very prominent in the early 2010s with Chief Keef and them dudes. And it's very important that we understand, just on a certain level, of the intentions. It's his job to aid into the destruction of the so-called black community. It's his job. Just when it comes to impressing upon us with things that's frivolous. So we extol hip hop, not even understanding that it's frivolous. It just is. Yeah, there's positive aspects of hip hop, but there's also negative aspects of it, and that's what they push. Just given the fact that they choose to push the negative aspect, it just shows you that that's the objective. How can you put that and extol that as a culture? It's not a culture, man. A culture is supposed to be substantive. It's supposed to be progressive. Hip hop is not progressive. Hip hop is all over the place. It's bugged out. It's not a culture, okay? And it's very important for us to understand that this guy Lyor Cohen is a Zionist, Luciferian, Satanist, whatever you want to call him. He's someone that worships the GOAT. I believe it was his idea to put DMX in that bathtub full of blood. Real GOAT blood. Real GOAT blood. Because they worship the GOAT, they worship the Baphomet. And when you look at this Breakfast Club interview, which is a stark contrast to this interview, you see Lyor Cohen kind of tiptoeing over, the conversation, or tiptoeing over the questions that he's being asked about being a culture vulture and so on and so forth. Even though it's like, I don't really label him as that, because this shit that I see when it comes to so-called black degeneracy, that's not a real culture. That's a culture in the eyes of the simple-minded black man, but that's not a culture. It's degeneracy. It's nonsensical. That's all it is. And no disrespect, I say this out of love for my people so they can understand what time it is and what's really real. The culture that you've been fed is not a real culture, because black is not real. So how could you associate that with any sort of culture? Okay? Like I said, there's no black language. We don't speak the same language. So how the fuck do we have a culture? Like, we all into different philosophies and doctrines. How do we have a culture? Like I said, a culture is a uniform understanding of a race or a group. Particularly, that group is of the same race. They have a uniform understanding of lineage, customs, adherences, understanding of their God. When it comes to so-called black people, our God is the God of Israel, the Most High God. The one true God is our God, believe it or not. And that's our culture. So it's very important for us to understand that. The reason why they don't want you to understand that is because they understand how threatening that is. It just is. So they feed you hip hop because that's less threatening. Look what they doing to our women. Look at the women. Look how they exploit themselves, objectify themselves, their own bodies. They like to say, "Oh, men objectify us." No, y'all objectify yourselves. Y'all be spearheaded. Y'all get spearheaded by the people in power. Lyor Cohen also, I think he launched Megan Thee Stallion. I think she was signed to 300 Entertainment, and then afterwards, I think she signed to Atlantic. But yeah, man, that whole scene, all orchestrated by Caucasian Jews, Zionists, the people who have a motive, and that's Lyor Cohen. So it's very important for us to understand. We cannot look at hip hop as a culture. It's a music genre, and it's aspects of degeneracy and low level vibrations. It just is. It's aspects of degeneracy and low level vibrations. You cannot call that a culture.
Really rough, particularly on women. But I think it helped change the course of the crack epidemic. I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
But being a
so
crackhead wasn't cool back then. Being
What?
a crackhead wasn't cool. Now it seems like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and.
It's the
and
most
pills.
dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
Are you?
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical, though. You're saying the
it's
opioid problem's a problem.
opportunistic. Yeah. I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
Who's Dame Dash? You brought him up. I don't even know him. So you bring his name up. I don't even know him. So
Y'all made a lot of money together.
Made a lot of
Come
money.
on, Lyor. Don't do that to him.
I don't know him. I really don't. So, I don't know what to tell you.
You see, this right here is the look of someone who's sly and cunning and a deceiver, a real devil in a fucking flesh. That's Lyor Cohen. Ultimate opportunist, ultimate leecher, siphoning off of the spirit of so-called black people, as well as impressing upon so-called black young men. And this has been at play for almost 40 years with Lyor Cohen and the people that he's been behind when it comes to Jay-Z, Kanye West, and DMX, and Irv Gotti, all these rappers. And for the most part, the agenda is always degeneracy. This is why, they don't want female rappers to be all dressed up and talking positive like a MC Lyte or Lauryn Hill. You don't really have much of those. You have the Megan Thee Stallions and the Glorrillas and the Sexy Reds and the Lottos. That's what you got. Why do you have that? Because they push low-level degeneracy on our people for a reason, because that's something that we extol. Therefore, we have no fucking culture. We extol negativity. We extol degeneracy. We don't extol substance or positivity, knowledge, history. We don't extol none of those things. We don't put that in high regard. We put the lowest of the lows in a high regard. That's how confused we fucking are and lost we are. But shalom to you all, and peace.